The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network.
Good afternoon. I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle.
And we are the Magnums.
We want to welcome you to Straight Talk about the blended family.
We appreciate you tuning in to us today, and we pray that we will give you a fresh perspective on how to allow your blended family to mesh and to blend well. Good afternoon, and welcome to another segment of Straight Talk about the blended family. I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle.
And we are the Magnums. You know how we do it here. Before we go forward, we must open this thing up in prayer. Let's pray. Father, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for what you're about to do today. God, thank you for all the intersections that we have in our lives, God. But we ask you, God, to take full control of our subject matter and what's going to take place today. Bless us. Bless everyone that's connected to us, the audience. Strengthen them, empower them, equip them. In the precious name of your son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Now, at this time, before I go into our thank yous, I just want to let you know that today we were supposed to have a guest on our show, and she ended up in the hospital. She has pneumonia, so she's not going to be on our show today. We will schedule her when she's better, when she's healthier.
Yes.
And
we're lifting her up in prayer, for sure.
But please lift her up in prayer. That's why I'm mentioning it. Put her on your prayer list, and we're just going to pray that she heals, which we know she
get back in the track, because she's an incredible talk show host. She has her own show.
And we look forward to having her on another time.
Without a doubt.
Okay. But the title of today's show is your blended family entitled or grateful?
Wow.
Entitled or grateful?
It's going to be tight today.
So at this time, I just want to say thank you to the Lord for giving us this platform.
Yes.
We want to thank Lionel Green and the WBGR staff here at the radio station. We want to thank our supporters, those who are praying for us, those who are watching the show, those who are sharing the show, and those who are doing watch parties. We've come to find out that later in the evening when people get off work, they're doing watch parties so that their people can see the show and get some nuggets from, what we go over. And, today we have a great topic. And so we're looking forward to that. Now, if you feel the need to call, please, we love to take your call. Call us at 301-429-9247. If that line is busy, you can call 301-306-7284. That's 301-429-9247. And if that is busy, 301-306-7284. You can join in on the conversation. We do not have a problem with that.
We want you to join in, because it's the reality about entitlement and gratefulness. And we're kind of caveating this because we're in the season of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And we're in the season of where the Christmas holidays are soon to come. And, the reality in the blended family, there's so many different dynamics. There's so many different dynamics that goes on within the blended family.
Yes.
And there's so many things that happens. And we just want to make sure that what we want to do today, we want to explore, are your family being guided by entitlement? Are your family being guided by being grateful? And so today we're going to talk about some things, because what we recognize in the 21st century, that the voice in the 21st century, or the voice of reason, is entitlement. Entitlement simply means, I'm going to put this in a nutshell. Entitlement simply means that I feel that I'm entitled to whatever I get. I feel privileged. I deserve whatever I'm getting without putting any effort in, without putting any attitude in. I deserve it because, listen, I'm part of the family. I'm the oldest person. I was here, and listen, I deserve to get everything I need to get. We're going to unpack it a little more, but we understand. And then listen, millennials, Xers, and even parents, we have allowed this mindset, because I believe entitlement is a mindset based on the blended family, or our family environment that we allow to take place.
And another thing about entitlement, people have a tendency of thinking, everybody wants it quick. Everybody wants this microwave, mentality to go on. And the thing about that is, when you do it that way, it doesn't last. It doesn't last, and really, then you're not even fulfilled. But if you do it the slow way, and you take your time and you let God mature and maturate you in the whole process and take you through the steps, trust me, when you work hard for it, you appreciate it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do. I mean, I think again, just to add, when you have a attitude or mindset of entitlement, it affects everything and affects everybody around you. Yes. Maybe when you go to the grocery store, maybe you go to the department store, maybe your coworkers, maybe your family, you feel that you're privileged or you're better than them. You may not say it, but your behavior and attitude displays this on a consistent basis. And so I went to my friend. I am a Psychology Today guy because I am a Christian psychologist, Christian counselor. So those are things I like to look up because I like to deal with some statistics and deal with how entitlement has affected us as humans, it affected us in the blended family.
Yes.
I read an article recently and said, this article said the entitlement mindset was birthed during the self-esteem movement of the 1970s or 80s. It stated that many parents that were influenced by this movement, which catered to the needs of their children as a means of helping those young people feel better about themselves. Many homes become child-centric, which the needs and interests of the children becoming the focal point of family priorities. Over time, many psychologists have found that such an approach to parenting is deeply flawed. If we overdo anything, if we overcompensate, if we go too far to my right, your left, or too far to my left, your right, there are consequences because what we do, and I get it, my wife and I get it, you should build your children, you should build one another as husbands and wives, as family members, but don't take it too far because what you do, you open up that gateway for them to feel like I'm privileged, I'm better than somebody, and then you open up the gateway for the ego to come in. You know, when people get that ego, you deal with manipulative attitudes and behavior, you start dealing with bullying, you start dealing that, you know, I am the one, I have arrived.
Untouchable.
You know, and so when you take that, honey, when you take that mentality, what you do, you create an environment for rift and animosity to come in. And again, we get it. I believe my wife and I, because we're parents and grandparents, I think you should build your kids. You should encourage them. And every child is different. Every child needs a little different nudging, a little different encouragement, but don't take it too far. Don't overcompensate. Read this about Dr. Macalzo. He's a friend of mine.
Okay, so in an article titled "The Failure of Child-Centered Parenting," I'm going to say that again because that says a lot just in the title. The Failure of Child-Centered Parenting, published in Psychology Today on May the 15th, 2015, by Dr. Michael Mascolo, acknowledges some of the values of self-esteem movement while warning of its limitations. Parents need to be both directive and supportive, to have high expectations and provide loving care.
Yes.
To praise success, but also teach.
Underline teach.
Teach children how to cope with and persevere through failure. That's so important. Teach your kids how to cope. Don't let them self-soothe. You know, they got this thing where everybody don't let the kids self-soothe. Listen, you got to teach them how to self-soothe. You got to teach them how to cope. Because otherwise, they getting in school, they acting up in school when something goes wrong and they don't know how to handle it. And then, next thing you know, they getting arrested.
Or on another point of that, I want you to finish that so we can talk about that. Talk about his statement.
Okay, so to respect children and embrace the legitimacy of their parental authority. Children come into the world incomplete.
Whoa! Say that again.
Children come into the world incomplete. They need the active direction and sensitive support of loving parents to help complete them. You know how husband and wives, you know how y'all complete each other. You know how God completes us as a body, as in our soul. Well, children need their parents to complete them, father and mother.
And we live in a society where parents have allowed their children at very young ages to be independent, to do their own things on their own. To make their own decisions. They're
not mature enough to make their own decisions.
And the reality is that it goes against the psychological the perspective of gearing and guiding your child or your children so that they can be successful. Listen, they're incomplete. When they get here, they know nothing. And let me tell you something. When you allow kids to have their own self-independence mindset and you allow it to go overboard, that's when you deal with the struggle of entitlement.
Yes.
And it's so pervasive in our schools, in our churches, in our homes. Some kids in our homes, some kids don't want you to say nothing to them as an adult because the parents have told them that I can go, a 5-year-old can go toe to toe with an adult. Because that 5-year-old feel that they're on the parents' level. We've licensed our children to have that mentality. There's another article I want to read.
And let me just say, slide this in there.
Sure,
and
slide it in there.
In the blended family, you know, the husband raised this child one way, and the mother's raised her children another way. And then when they come together, if one set of children has the spirit of entitlement on there and the other has a spirit of gratitude on there, they gonna clash. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That's gonna be another issue in your blended family, is the kids having those two different backgrounds and y'all just letting them go for it and letting them self-soothe.
Yeah,
no,
and letting them make their own decisions.
You have to sit down and talk to them and explain things to them. They are not, please don't listen. Kids, yes, they're smart with that technology and all that, but not all of them have common sense. Not all of them have just flat out no things.
Well, these are some intangibles. See,
and they
kids don't come in with intangibles. They have to learn those intangibles from parents that know how to guide and lead them. Again, Dr. Mascalo said that children come here incomplete. We as parents should support them to make sure that we prepare them and help them to be complete.
Yes.
Let me read this article and listen, we're going to talk about gratitude, but we want to deal with the challenges of entitlement that's in our homes, in our schools, in our churches, on our jobs. And listen, it's not, let me tell you about entitlement too. It has nothing to do with the dollar bill that you have. It has nothing to do with your wealth.
That's right.
It has nothing to do with what you have financially or how much your intellect is above others. What it does is sets you up to allow pride to basically disable you from understanding what it is to be grateful or to be thankful. But let me read this article. I'm always reading.
And sometimes when kids have the sense of entitlement on it, or young adults, or whatever you want, or adults, however, you often find that they don't want to work hard for anything.
Yeah, they want somebody to give them something.
To be given to them.
Yeah, they don't
want to work hard for it. Their work ethic is down, and then you wonder why there's sparsity in jobs. They don't want to work certain jobs because well, they want to pass the buck. They rather not get an income at all and lean on their parents to give them everything that they want. You're right, but versus work hard, but that's not preparing them. Yeah. To live on their own. That's not preparing them.
You're right,
you know what I mean? That's doing a disservice to the child. I know you think, I'm going to give them whatever they want. No. You listen, don't reward bad behavior, because some kids get terrible behavior in school and terrible grades. And you rewarding them with bad behavior when you giving them whatever they want. No. They need to listen. The only job they have as a child, clean their room, do their homework, do their schoolwork.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? If they can't do that, you should not be rewarding them.
Your children, again, they come here incomplete. I really want to say that. And we as parents, blended family or not, one of our responsibilities is to make sure that we build and develop our children, whether they're our bonus children or our biological children, to be the very best kids they can be inside and out. Yes. And what's the type of behavior we are pouring onto them? Because listen, this stuff they're picking up from social media, they're picking up from their friends, they're picking it up from people that they deal with from different places, and and so what my whole thing today, or our whole thing, not mine alone, is that we have a balance. You have to understand and see. Here's where entitlement, because sometimes the spirit of entitlement can slip in because it can be hidden. Because what we do as parents, we look at how we were raised and how we didn't have anything. And this is what we say: I'm going to give my kids more than what I have. And I don't have a problem with that. But when you overdo it, when you overcompensate, when you take it too far, what are you doing? What are the consequences? And sometimes we have to sit back and reflect. Yeah, my mom couldn't do X, Y, Z for me, so I'm going to make sure my kids have A, B, C, D, and F. It's okay. But be balanced, be moderate, because you're teaching. You should always be teaching, like Dr. Mascalo said. You should be teaching and supporting. But let me read this other article. The entitlement. This article is entitled "Entitlement Epidemic." Usually begins with overparenting, overindulging, overprotecting, overpampering, overpraising, jumping through hoops to meet kids' endless demands. Today's generation of parents are overly invested in their child's happiness, comfort, and success. Overly involved parents helicopter their kids' every move and mow down the potential obstacles in their path. In our attempt to shelter our kids from adversity, we rob them of the opportunity to make decisions, learn from their mistakes, and develop the resilience needed to thrive through the ups and downs of life. This is all done in the name of love, but too much of a good thing can result in kids who always expect to get what they want when they want it. Here's the thing. We don't like to tell our kids no because we feel that our kids are not going to be able to handle no. Listen, teach your children how to handle no early. And no doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. No means that not right now. Because a lot of times our kids can't handle things that we allow them to walk in through, and then they suffer psychologically, emotionally, a lot deeper anxiety because guess what we did? We entitled them. We told them you can have this and this. And you know, my wife and I may have talked about this 4, 5, 6 shows ago that we read a story about a young lady. I think she was in the blended family, and the biological grandparents bought her a car. She came to her biological mom or dad, I don't remember all the specifics, and said that I'm graduating from high school, I need a brand new car. Now listen, how many of us listening to me, if you're in my age group, if you were born and raised in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and 90s, and you know, and you couldn't have, your parents maybe could not supply you with a brand new car or afford to get your car when you graduated from high school, guess what we did? I went and got a job. Let's be honest, you went and got a job, you know, and if your parents were able to give you that car, did you take care of it? See, here's the thing, and I get it.
You still had to get your gas.
And your insurance, and I had to pay for all of that. But what I'm saying to you, I'm not telling you to do what I did. What I'm telling you, the reason why I'm even making this point about that young lady is because she demanded a new car because she felt privileged and entitled. And so because the other parents or grandparents bought into that same psyche or that same attitude, got her a car. So now her non-biological brothers and sisters felt that they was not worthy or that they were not loved enough or respected enough to get a car given to them. And see, let me just say this right now. If you give your children or if you give people things without them having a breath of gratitude and thankfulness, they're not going to ever respect you. See, the problem in the 21st century is that there's not enough respect going on for adults and elders by younger people because guess what we do? We give, all they got to do is cry. Now, let me say this and make you laugh because you're looking at me like I'm on some planet from ozone layer. But let me tell you something. Let that little rascal, that little princess cry because you said no. Because it will not hurt them. It will not take them away. And now we gotta make kids say thank you. How in the world do you make a kid say thank you to give them something that they never had? So real quick, getting back 30 seconds, getting back to the young lady. She got the new car from the grandparents. And so she was right around with her chest poked out, say, I'm better than you. Look what my grandparents got me. And your parents can't afford it. See what you created?
And you can't use my car.
You can't even ride in my car unless you pay gas in it. And it wasn't her car because she didn't pay a dime. And so when you stop your kids from having a healthy work ethic about getting something. Now let me give you a quick antidote for that. If you have a child that wants a car, first of all, they should be able to get a job. If they're graduating from high school, get a job and have them put some money down on a car because what you're doing, you're teaching them how to save for something that they want. You're giving them a goal. And then what you do, if you can, as a parent said, if your car costs $6,000, if you raise $3,000, I'll give you the other $3,000 because what you're doing is that you're teaching your kids how to, number one, save for that goal or save for the thing that they desire. And number two, they can partner because when you are entitled, you owe me this.
Or another option is you can get them the car and you let them know they have to have the insurance on it. They have to pay for the insurance. They have to pay for the gas it up. They have to pay for the maintenance. Make them responsible for something, because if you don't, that entitlement spirit, I'm telling you, that entitlement spirit is not a grateful spirit. It's an ungrateful spirit. And that thing will bite you, and it will come back to bite you.
So what we want to do, we want to deal with 7 symptoms of entitlement. And I'm going to read a couple. My wife going to read a couple. The first one, you impose unrealistic demands on your family, your friends, your brothers and sisters, acquaintances, even relationship, or even people that you work with, or even people you go to church with. You put unrealistic demand. Do you know anybody like that? Audience, do you know anybody that you're connected to that have given you all these unrealistic demands about what should take place for them? It's all about them. We're doing a selfie. We're taking a selfie. You see how you take a selfie on your phone? That's what we're doing. That's number one. Go ahead and read the next one, hon.
All right. The next one is you tend to feel sorry for yourself if things don't work out the way you want it. Self-pity, and openly advertise this in melodramatic, attention-seeking ways.
Wow. You see, it just shifted.
Temper tantrum.
You have a attention tantrum as a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, 12-year-old, a 5-year-old, as a 30-year-old, as a 40-year-old, as a 50-year-old. We have an attention tantrum because we feel entitled. You know how it works. The next one. You punish people when they don't do what you want, either passively or silent treatment. Or we start gossiping and we start spreading rumors, aggressively shouting verbally. That's another part of the attention tantrum. This is all about this entitlement behavior and attitude that takes place. We talking about the symptoms now. Do you know anybody that have some of these symptoms? Read the next one, baby.
You constantly see other people as competition or threats.
Wow. Everybody is against you. Everybody don't like you because you can't get what you want.
Mercy.
Because you don't control the outcome of a conversation or a situation. I have more education than you, so I should be allowed to talk more than you. Thank God for your education. Education is important. I have more experience than you. Well, just because you have more experience doesn't mean that you're always right. Doesn't mean that you always know all the answers.
Doesn't mean that you have common sense either.
And listen, why are you competing?
Some people are book smart, but no common sense. So,
well, my wife's going to talk about that.
We're talking about being balanced.
And here's the thing. The next one is, you tend to exhibit many double standards in the way you behave, interact with other people. I can be late and forget my duties and commitments, but you can't. I can treat myself, but you can't. I can abuse or disrespect you, but you can't do it to me. Does that sound like somebody that you know?
So they can treat you any kind of way they want to treat you. They can mistreat you. They can talk about you. They can be abrasive with their tone with you. They can say nasty things to you. But if you say it back to them,
there's
they can't handle that.
Or they don't have to make their commitments. They can tell you they're going to do something. And if they're a little late, listen, I'm the one.
So basically,
I'm God's gift to the earth.
Treat people the way you want to be treated. If you want to be respected and you don't want people yelling at you and you don't want people being nasty towards you, then don't be that way with them.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Because most people that give that out can't take it.
Well, yeah. Go ahead and read the next one.
You generally think that you are better or more important than other people, and other people should see this and unquestioningly respect you.
That's what happens when we are entitled. And see, sometimes our entitlement is settled until somebody triggers and they're not giving you the attention. They're not unquestioningly respecting you.
They turn their nose up.
Because they listen.
Because they think they are the stuff.
And I'm
educated. I have my degrees, and I'm, and
it's okay to be educated.
I know better, and
but don't treat people less than you are, and that's what the entitlement. That's what that privileged attitude. Right. And guess what?
You're still supposed to treat people with kindness. You're not supposed to look your nose down at people. You don't know people's circumstances and where they came from, and what their life situation had been.
But we do this.
Look down on somebody that's not God. That's not cool.
But this comes up. I believe this behavior, these symptoms come from us as parents that overparent, overindulge, that meet all our kids' demands, regardless of how they ask for it. They're telling you versus asking you. That's what a person that has an entitlement mentality. They tell you what they want. They're not asking you. And we get and let me say this. Some of you parents, I love you. Let me tell you something, so don't get offended. Some of you parents are cream puffs. Mom and dad, you just cream puffs. You're marshmallows. You are. And I understand that sometimes
that's his way of saying you let the kids walk all over you.
Well, they got it. Trust me, they know.
I don't know. Some of them might not.
Well, I'm glad you. Listen, I'm glad you.
What's a cream puff?
But I'm glad you added that, because see, here's the problem with that mentality, is that you're creating. You gonna get upset with me, but it's okay. I've been in trouble most of my life. You're creating a monster, and she may be pretty, and he may be handsome. But you're creating a monster, intangible, internal, because you're giving them this mentality. And you're keeping up with everything you want to keep up with them without building and teaching them the proper way to handle things and the proper way to go through things without... Listen, your childhood may have been jacked up. And I know you want to do so much better and you deserve to do better with your kids. But think about it. When I came up, if I was not thankful and grateful, the spigot cut off.
Well, you listen. When I came up, if you weren't thankful, you weren't grateful, and you didn't want to say thank you, they would take it back. And you don't want to thank. You don't want. This not good enough for you. You don't want this. We'll give it back.
Let me read the seventh one. Let me read the seventh one, because we got a little ways to go. The seventh one, the last one, of entitlement symptoms. You have a deep-seated conviction that you have priority and should always come first, even at the expense of stepping on others.
And that's creating selfishness. That right there. That's what that is. That's selfishness. That's saying it's all about me. I don't care nothing about what you want, what you going through, but what you or whatever. It's all about me. I care about me, and if it don't benefit me, I don't want to do it. That's what it is.
So we want to shift for a moment. We're going to shift. I know we're going to hit you hard today. I know you're probably saying, man, the Mangum team lost their mind. No, we haven't. We want you to be better in the blended family, in the traditional family. But we got to deal with these intangibles right now that's causing problems in the world that we live in. This entitlement spirit, this behavior is very destructive. And we want to be able to cause a shift in that destructibility of this entitlement spirit. Here's some recommended tips for overcoming that entitlement behavior mindset. First of all, pull your own weight. And if you're a young adult living with your parents and you don't want to help your parents, this is how you can overcome that. Help your parents out around the house.
Yes.
Maybe pay a bill for them.
Yes. Because you can't live anywhere for free. Let me just say that. You can't live anywhere for free. So if somebody lets you come to live with them, or if you live with your parents, help them out. Even if you're not working.
Or help your sister if you live with a brother or sister.
Be a benefit.
Help them out. Be a blessing to them.
Yeah, be a benefit around the house.
And I know you feel
do that. Yeah. I'm telling you, it takes off pressure off of them.
If you start giving,
and it lets them know that you're grateful, because if you are gonna, you're gonna live with somebody that's opening their home to you, even if it's your parents. You can't be in there and just being a leech. Listen.
You're dropping it. This straight talk.
This straight talk. So you can't be a leech.
And don't penalize your parents.
I don't want to clean. I don't want to cook. I don't want to help out. I'm certainly not going to pay you rent. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, and then you come in all times of the evening. You eat all the food. You don't replenish nothing. You're taking advantage of your parents, your brother or sister, because you feel like, listen, I'm the oldest, I'm the best, I'm the brightest. All those things are good in their proper context, but it's not helpful and it's not healing.
And if your parents put you out, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have to get your own place, and you're going to have to do all those things on your own anyway. And so you might as well get it in your spirit to help out. And
so the reality is that these are tips. These are recommended tips. Pull your own weight. And be willing to give. And your parents, versus taking.
And entitlers, your parents don't have to. And listen, once you turn 18 or 21, your parents can say, bye, go get your own
because we talked about that.
Go get, go in the military, go to trade school, go to college, listen, do something that's going to be beneficial.
Because you parents, let me say this, let me encourage the parents. If you're working a full-time job and you have young adult children at your house, and they're not doing nothing, and you come home, your house is a mess, the dishes hasn't been washed, and the clothes hasn't been folded, or hasn't been any vacuuming, and they sitting around in front of the television eating pizza and whatever. And here's the thing, and I know you love your kids. I will never tell you to treat your kids any kind of way. I'm telling you to make your kids responsible and accountable, and guess what? Encourage them to pull their own weight. Because here's the thing, the stress that's on you as a parent because of what they're not doing is great. You leave your house stressed. You go to a job where you're stressed. You get on the beltway to come home, and if you're in the DMV, you're going to deal with traffic stress. When you get home, it's going to be stress. So, stress is the number one killer of African American people, or all people. Stress. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we allocate that stress because we enable that stress because we accept. Have them pull their own weight. Mm-hmm. The next one. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, read that, baby.
Put yourself in others' shoes. Put yourself in others' shoes. Take a moment to think of typical entitlement behavior. How do you feel when people ask for more than they contribute? What do you think when a smug face feels like they cut the line in front of you? And when they interrupt you because they think they know better.
Wow.
How do you feel about that?
See, what that does, that causes that entitlement. If you're honest today, that will cause that entitlement behavior and attitude to shift if you put yourself in someone. See, you gotta get out the selfishness and the self way and become selfless. And then when you become selfless, you put yourself in somebody else's shoes. That's when my wife and I, we counsel with several people, and I always try to put myself in their shoes when I'm even giving them advice or answering a question. Not that I've been through some of the things they've been through, but I try to hypothetically think about how would I feel if I was them.
And remember that not only does people have different backgrounds of how they grew up, and they grew up differently, but male and female, men don't think like women, and women don't think like men. So that's another thing that's different,
That's
so.
And your kids are seeing this in the home.
Yeah, so
they're seeing this in the home.
And for kids to see, you guys are respecting each other. You're respecting. Okay, how do you feel? How do you think? What do you think about this? And
it has to develop, and it has to be consistent. Yes. The next one
it can't be all about you, because if it's all about you, then that spirit gonna pass down to your kids. And then when your kids are acting up and they acting like it's all about them, then you gonna be tripping. You gonna trip because you're gonna be like, wait a minute, hold up, what's going on right here?
Because even
get that attitude together, but can they say that to you? Can they tell you get that attitude together?
Because even if you're rich, even if you're rich and famous, there's a line. Maybe there's an invisible line that said people said they're not going to keep taking that from you because you have more money than them, you live in a better house, you drive a better car. They're going to tell you exactly how they feel and deal with the repercussions from you, because people will get to a place that say enough is enough. You're going to stop bullying me. Mm-hmm. You're going to stop disrespecting me. You're going to stop taking advantage of me because you have. And see, listen, having a lot of money doesn't mean that you're wealthy internally, or doesn't mean that you're whole internally or psychologically or emotionally. And so we just have to remember that, put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. The next one I want to give you, this is another tip. Concentrate on developing compassion and empathy. Asking, how does this affect others? How does he or she feel right now? How would I feel if I was him or her? Helps to broaden the mind and open it to new and beneficial ways of thinking. All it's saying in this caption is that, how did that person feel because I treated them this way? Mm-hmm. How would I feel? See, again, put yourself in that person's shoes, but have empathy and compassion. And let me tell you something. My wife, when I look up the word compassion in the dictionary, I see her smiling face. This woman will have compassion and empathy. I'm telling you something. She will try to help the cat, the dog, the bird. She gonna help humans. I mean, and she will give you literally the coat off her back. She will give you the shoes off her feet. I can't give everybody my shoes on my feet because I wear 13, sometimes 14. She got small feet too, so she can't always do it. But what we're saying,
me too, 13, 14, not small.
No, I'm talking about your feet. Your feet smaller than mine, so you can give your shoes away quicker than I could. Because they look at my shoes and say, man, them boats. I can't get in them boats, and I get it. My boats help me float. You got to get something that's going to help you float. But the real reality is that When you're showing empathy, you're really concerned about that individual.
Yes.
You really want them to be better. You have their best interests at heart. And see, when you have a person's best interests at heart, you start subduing and reducing that spirit of entitlement, that spirit of arrogancy, that spirit of privilege. Because you can't, listen, compassion and empathy cannot live in the same room or the same house as entitlement and privilege consistently, because it's going to be a clash.
It's going to be a clash, and you do not want that clash in your blended family. You know, it's so important that you have these discussions with your kids.
Yes.
That you don't even have that spirit on you, but that you have, these discussions with your kids, so that you don't have a child over here that thinks they're better than their other children.
And we can't play favorites. Don't play favorites with those kids
because
in the
their
blended
other
family.
siblings are not blood. They have to understand. Okay,
everybody should be privileged.
This is your brother and your sister now.
They're privileged with you.
Exactly, and they might not have the same mom and dad. However,
but they're privileged with you.
We're married now, so now
they're privileged with you.
Y'all are brothers and sisters. And they need to know that.
They're privileged with you. They are blessed and graced with you. Blood. My wife always say, throw blood out the window. Next one. Go ahead, baby.
In the blended family, throw blood out the window. All right. Celebrate with other people and celebrate other people. Pay attention to the joy and happiness of others. Being thankful for the people in your life allows you to place more importance in them, seeing how truly special they are. Slowly work on cultivating true self-love, not the malignant kind. So, here's what's important. What's important is when you teach your kids to have empathy and compassion for other people, and when you teach them to not be selfish, let me tell you something. Not only will they celebrate their siblings, and when things happen for their siblings that is good, they'll help praise them, and then that will cause their siblings to want to do it for them when it's
reciprocal.
Their turn.
What my wife is saying is reciprocal. Yes.
Because if they are entitled, and if they are going to be selfish, and they only want it their way, and they don't want to compromise, and they don't want to help out their brothers and sisters, and they're pouting and all this or whatever, when it comes down to their turn, their brothers and sisters are not going. They're going to be like, "No, you selfish. I'm not. No, I'm
let
not."
Let me give.
And
this
then
remedy.
you got another dynamic in your house.
Let me offer this remedy. If parents, if you're listening to us, and we hope you are, if you would teach your kids how to become servants.
Yes.
Take your kids when they get old enough to a soup kitchen, maybe to a homeless venue, and start serving people that are less fortunate.
Yes.
And see, that will absorb that spirit of entitlement and privilege. And say, you know what? I'm going to be compassionate, because those people don't have no food. They don't have clothes. And you're down there serving them. They don't have a place to live. Yes. And that's one of the best remedy is for them to actually participate in serving others that are less fortunate. Don't do it because you want your name in the paper. You don't do it because you want bragging rights. Do it because it's the right thing to do. Yes. And it's teaching you how to develop that core principle of empathy and compassion,
and it's teaching the kids to appreciate what they have.
Yeah, see, and we're going to go that way, but we realized that we wanted to share some of these principles with you and some of these recommendations, because guess what? We know naturally it's not natural for us to be grateful. It's not naturally for us to be thankful. It's more natural for us to be entitled. And most of us are really, if you want to really look up entitlement, you're really not entitled. You're just thinking you are because you don't have this, and you want people to think you have this, or you're dying for attention. But what we want to do, we want to shift, because being grateful has to be practiced within your blended family. The word grateful is defined as to be warmly or deeply appreciative of kindness or benefits received. Thankful. I am grateful to you for your help. Expressing or actuate by gratitude. A grateful letter. Pleasing to the mind or senses. Agreeable or welcome, refreshing. A grateful breeze. Wow.
And I want to encourage you. Next week is Thanksgiving, and I want to encourage you, before you start eating and all of that, after you pray over the food, ask everybody to go around the table and say something that they're thankful for. You know, especially the young people. Let them say something that they're thankful for. Because, you know, you may not hear it on a regular basis, you know. And they need to know what you're thankful for as an adult. And they also need to know, and you also need to know what they're thankful for as a child.
And let me just add this to what my wife is saying. I believe that. But let's start doing this. Let's make a decision this year on Thanksgiving that we're not going to wait for Thanksgiving to tell people how grateful we are and be thankful. We're going to start with the month of December. We're going to start with January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So by the time you're
saying once a month.
No, I'm talking about it should be done consistently in the home, in the blended family, whether it's weekly, whether it's bi-weekly. Because guess what? We live in a world
when you
where
do
people
your love shot,
are not grateful. Yeah, I know
you
my
do
wife.
Your love shot, go over some things that you're thankful.
So I think my wife jumped on the love shot. We got to talk to you about the love shop, but we want to finish this segment. My wife, I didn't see that coming. She was talking about the love shop, and we still want to hang here.
We
but
went over the love shop.
I know, but a lot of people haven't listened to that show.
True. That's
so
true.
We can't talk about the love shop. You have to go back and check. I don't even remember which episode it is. But anyway, my wife jumped on that one. Y'all give it to her heart. Here's a quote by a young lady I think her name is Amy Morin, Dr. Amy Morin. She said, on being grateful or having a grateful attitude, stop feeling sorry for yourself, we often are told. And while it can be hard to avoid self-pity entirely, mentally strong people choose to exchange self-pity for gratitude. Whether you choose to write a few sentences in a gratitude journal or simply take a moment to silently acknowledge all that you have and giving thanks can transform your life. That is so powerful. Here's the real reality of it. If you become more grateful, it will allow you mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually change where you are. And so the next couple things, we want to talk about 7 scientific proven benefits of being grateful. Go ahead, read the first one, Dave.
All right. Gratitude opens the door to more relationships. Yes, it does. Not only does saying thank you constitute good manners, I'm going to say that again. Not only does saying thank you constitute good manners, but showing appreciation can help you win new friends. According to a 2014 study published in Emotion, the study found that thanking a new acquaintance makes them more likely to seek on an ongoing relationship. So whether you thank a stranger for holding the door or send a thank you note to that colleague who helped you with a project, acknowledging other people's contributions can lead to new opportunities.
You're talking about networking?
Yes.
If you become thankful and grateful,
yes,
the doors of networking in your business and wherever you're doing something,
and in your personal life,
yes, it creates a relationship because really, honestly, people want to be connected to people that are appreciative and thankful and grateful.
Yes.
If you're not a person that's thankful and grateful, I'm gonna be honest with you. People may put up with you for a little while, but sooner or later they're gonna hit the road. They're not gonna stick around you, and kids not gonna stick around parents, and parents don't want to stick around their kids. But you play a role in creating this intuitive and this environment that happens inside of them. We were taught as young people, my wife and I, we grew up where it was put in our spirit, in our minds, and our behavior to be thankful and grateful. And whenever I got something, and I'm thankful for what I have versus being complaining about what I don't have. Be grateful and thankful. Let me read the next one.
And you want your kids to be thankful? Take them to a third world country.
And we've been to third world countries where we had to help, and we saw the poverty. We saw the disadvantagement. You know.
Hello.
Yes.
And they will appreciate.
I got excited, didn't I?
Yes, you did. You got excited. And they will appreciate. Take them to a third world country. They will appreciate what they have and how they're living.
Yeah.
When they see those kids, they will.
Gratitude improves physical health.
Yes.
Grateful people experience fewer aches and pains and report feeling healthier than other people, according to a 2012 study published in Personality and Individual Differences. Not surprisingly, grateful people are also more likely to take care of their health. They exercise more often and are more likely to attend regular checkups, which is likely to contribute to further longevity. Wow. If you are grateful, based on this study and based on life. You're going to take care of your health. You're going to be more aware of your health because you're thankful for what you have versus what you don't. Take care of yourself. More people work out and are grateful because they enjoy themselves.
And you have a positive attitude, which is going to, cause you to have positive,
and I think you have a healthy attitude
joy,
too.
You know what I mean? When you have that inner joy,
it attacks your physical health. Most people that are always ungrateful and always entitled, look at their faces when something doesn't go their way. Look at the frowns versus the smiles. Wow.
That's true.
Go ahead and read the
All
next
right,
one.
gratitude improves psychological health.
Oh, boy.
Gratitude reduces a multitude of toxic emotions, from envy and resentment to frustration and regret. Robert Emmons, a leading gratitude researcher, has conducted multiple studies on a link between gratitude and well-being. His research confirms that gratitude effectively increases happiness and reduces depression. Wow.
Your whole your health is dependent upon you being grateful.
Yes.
And showing gratitude.
Wow.
And reduces depression.
Yes.
And increases happiness.
Yes.
This is just real stuff, babe.
Yeah.
We walk around and listen, life is not a holiday every day. We get it.
Yeah.
You're going to have some difficulties, some trials and tribulation, but here's the reality of it. Now let me throw this. You need God, His grace and His mercy, and His word to enhance your ability to be grateful and thankful. But guess what? On a normal situation, you should be thankful.
Yes.
Because you could be in a worse place. The
Absolutely.
next one. Gratitude enhances empathy. We talked about that earlier. And reduces aggression. Grateful people are more likely to behave in a pro-social manner, even when others behave less kindly. According to a 2012 study by the University of Kentucky, study participants who ranked higher on gratitude scales were less likely to retaliate against others, even when given negative feedback. They experienced more sensitivity and empathy toward other people and a decreased desire to seek revenge. Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. You don't walk around getting somebody back. You're not planning to retaliate when you are grateful and you have empathy and you're not so aggressive. There's a scripture that said, vengeance is mine.
That's what it says.
The Lord said, I will repay.
It says the Lord.
I will repay. And here's the reality of it. You folks that are walking around holding stuff in, upset and want to retaliate, it is sucking the life out of you.
Mercy.
And it's sucking the life out of your blended family.
All right. On to grateful people. Sleep better.
Ha!
Grateful people sleep
I like
better.
to sleep too.
Writing in a gratitude journal improves sleep. According to a 2011 study published in Applied Psychology, Health and Well-Being, spend just 15 minutes jotting down a few grateful sentiments before bed, and you may sleep better and longer. That's all it takes, you to just take a piece of paper or take in your journal and write down 3 things that you are grateful for in your day right before you go to bed, before or after you say your prayers, and you write down 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for.
And what it does, it flows in your psyche and your emotions and allow you to rest peacefully.
It said you'll sleep better. But those who you are now who's sleeping well
and ungrateful and unthankful, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Next one. Gratitude improves self-esteem. A 2014 study published in the Journal of Applied Sports Psychology found that gratitude increased athlete self-esteem, an essential component to optimal performance. Other studies have shown that gratitude reduces social comparisons. Rather than becoming resentful towards people who have more money or better jobs, a major factor in reduced self-esteem, grateful people are able to appreciate other people's accomplishment. Wow. Here's the thing. Most of us suffer from low self-esteem because we're comparing ourselves to somebody else. We're comparing them to their family, to their husband, to their wives, to their children, to their accomplishment. Listen, one of the things my wife and I do, We celebrate when people do things well and when they are successful and blessed. We celebrate them. There's no envy. There's no animosity. I'm not jealous of you.
We love it.
Let me tell you something. I love when I get news that somebody bought a new house, got a new car, graduated from college. Their kid went from a C grade to an A grade. Whatever the case may be, if we start celebrating in our homes with our children and start allowing them to see that we're grateful because they're doing the best they can do. Everybody don't have A students. Let me say that. Everybody don't have B students. You may have a C student that's doing their very best. Get out of your own way and stop trying to live your life vicariously through your children. And talking about athletes, I was once an athlete, and one of the things when you're playing sports, self-esteem and confidence are the key to you being successful in athletic competition. And here's the reality: if you stop comparing yourself, I tell people all the time, I don't compare myself to nobody. I'm trying to initiate my life to be like God and like Christ.
We just being who God made us.
But I am who I am, and I'm not like you.
We're not competing with you.
No, I'm not competing with you. I'm not competing with your ability to do this or your ability. I'm not. I'm doing with what I've been given to do. But my talents and gifts. And see, here's the thing.
And you gonna see us 10 years from now, and you'll see that we are still we still the same people.
We still the same people. Next one, baby. We got the last one.
Gratitude increases mental strength.
Woo!
Gratitude increases. I had to read that again. Gratitude increases mental strength. For years, research has shown gratitude not only reduces stress, but it may also play a major role in overcoming trauma. A 2006 study published in Behavior Research and Therapy found that Vietnam War veterans with higher levels of gratitude experienced lower rates of post-traumatic stress disorder.
PTSD.
A 2003 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that gratitude was a major contributor to resilience following the terrorist attacks on September 11th. Recognizing all that you have to be thankful for, even during the worst times, fosters resilience.
Okay, I'm looking because I'm kind of I want my wife to hang with me, and we're gonna talk about 7 benefits of practicing gratitude. We may not get through all 7 of them, but we want to hit you with some of them. Gratitude can make you more patient. Research from Northeastern University has found that people who felt grateful for little everyday things were more patient and better able to make sensible decisions compared to those who didn't feel very gracious on a day-to-day basis. When 105 undergraduate students were asked to choose between receiving a small amount of money immediately or a larger sum at some point in the future, for example, the students who had shown more gratitude in earlier experience were able to hold out for more cash. In other words, they were grateful for the little bit of money that they received.
Yes.
And I'm telling you,
gratitude might improve your relationship.
Yes.
Okay, so okay. Gratitude may stop you from overeating. Gratitude replenishes willpower. Oh, God, I got to read that one again.
Read it again.
Gratitude replenishes willpower. Your willpower. Says Susan Pierce Thompson, a cognitive scientist who specializes in the psychology of eating. The concept is similar to the Northeastern research that found a connection between gratitude and patience. Thompson says cultivating feelings of gratitude can boost your impulse control, helping you slow down and make better decisions. If you find yourself taking slice after slice of pumpkin pie, for example, Thompson recommends excluding yourself from the table to jot down a quick list of things you're grateful for, which can help you clear your mind and reset.
The last one I'll say, and we skip through these for a reason. Gratitude gives you happiness that lasts. Lots of things from a compliment to a sugary treat can bring little bursts of happiness, but instant gratification also goes away quickly. Sapella explains, which leaves you craving more. Gratitude is something that leads to much more sustainable forms of happiness because it's not based in that immediate gratification. It's a frame of mind. She says, if you regularly take time to express gratitude and thankfulness, you are likely to see results. Listen.
Yes.
Positive
results.
We talked about the benefits and the health and even entitlement today. We're so glad that you tuned in today. We want you to share this broadcast with us today, because what we realized, that your blended family could either be a blended family of entitlement folk or a blended family of grateful folk, or grateful children, biological or bonus parents. And we just wanted you to know today, we wanted to give you a snapshot as we move towards the Thanksgiving season.
And how to help your blended family better mesh well together.
Yes.
So that y'all have a more cohesive unit, so that the ins and outs of your family dynamics are diminished.
Yes.
That communication thing.
We're grateful.
That spirit of gratitude.
Yes.
Oh, powerful.
It's such a powerful thing that overcomes all those things. So listen, we know there's a work in process.
It will help your family.
This is a process to go from entitlement to gratefulness.
Yes.
Or to go from being entitled to being, but you got to start somewhere. Today, hopefully, we gave you some ammunition and some equipment and some empowering tools that allow you to reach those levels of gratefulness.
And some insights into what your child who or your spouse who may have an entitlement spirit on them, maybe, it gives you some insight into how they're thinking, what they're feeling, and all that. You know what I mean? And so you counteract with some of the things that we went over. I'm telling you right now.
You will help use some of those things.
You will not only help them come out of that entitlement spirit, but then your home will be more harmonious. I'm telling you, you will be grateful for that.
Definitely. So listen, we have enjoyed ourselves today tremendously.
Yes, we have.
We're grateful. Continue to pray for the young lady that's supposed to have been on our show that's dealing with pneumonia. But we're going to pray right now. Father, we thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Lord.
We thank you for this episode today, this segment, God. We pray that you will bless our audience, that you will bless them to share. And we pray that we said some things that will allow them to be encouraged, equipped, and empowered to make their blended family so successful, to go from just existing to excelling. We thank you for this broad. We thank you for my wife. We thank you for just everyone that has played a role and a part in this episode today.
Yes,
in the precious name of your son Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I'm Doc D.
I'm Michelle.
And we are the Mangoes. Same time next week. 1:30 to 2:30 coming at you.
We have a thankful Thanksgiving show for you next week. Tune in. We have a special guest.
We're going to have a blast. Yes, Doreen going to tear it up.
I'm telling you,
it's going to be fabulous.
Hear about her.
She's tremendous.
Family. Yeah, we're going to be in here talking about blended family. So
we're grateful today.
God bless y'all. We hope that something that we said encouraged you, uplifted you, and you'll implement it, and it'll help your blended family be more successful.
Babe, you were fabulous today, like you always are. I like what you got on too today. I think you're trying to hook up with the old fella here.
Well, it's that time to end the show, but we've had an absolute blast.
Please come back and check us out on next Wednesday from 1:30 to 2:30, to where we will share some more insights on how the blended family can rise. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. Peace be upon you.